Hello, so behind me are images of Newgate Prison, the notorious Newgate Jail in London, which was in use as a prison, incarcerated and executed criminals from 1188 up until 1902. So many hundreds of years of criminals passing by its gates and walls. It was modified and demolished and then rebuilt several times over that period until it was finally demolished in 1902. Famous inmates in Newgate included the likes of Captain Kidd, Daniel Defoe, also Casanova. It also housed a lot of very famous fictional characters, such as Daniel Defoe's own character, Mole Flanders, who was born in Newgate. Conditions in the jail were pretty horrific, as you can imagine. The cells were underground with no natural light. You had to pay for everything in the prison cells. They were very tiny, very pokey. You were often imprisoned with other very violent criminals that could be a risk to you. The jailers could charge fees for things like food and clothing as they wanted. There wasn't really any proper regulation, and it was, rife with corruption, as I'm sure you can imagine. So often people would just, if they were paupers, they'd end up starving to death a lot of the time. There was a legend of Newgate, of the so-called Black Dog of Newgate. This was a supernatural entity that was conjured up apparently by a wizard that was imprisoned in Newgate. And this dog would be sometimes seen as a black shadow moving through the prison and eating, there it is up there as an image of it, eating the inmates. Now, I think it's probably more likely that the inmates were cannibalizing each other because they were starving. But nevertheless, it's interesting that we still use the expression the black dog when we're talking about depression or a low mood. And I wonder if it comes from this, because conditions inside Newgate would have been pretty dire indeed.